Hello, Chris Green here with the Flood Insurance Guru. Today, we're here on the French Broad River in Asheville, North Carolina, and we're talking about historic flooding that has occurred on this river. Dating all the way back even to 2018, 2019, even to 1865, this river has caused flooding throughout the Asheville area. So we want to talk about what are the flood insurance options here in Asheville, North Carolina, along the French Broad River. Maybe your property's been flooded, maybe it hasn't. How are your options different if your property has flooded compared to if it hasn't? So we're going to talk about all those today. So first of all, remember, there's two options when it comes to flood insurance. You have the National Flood Insurance Program, also known as FEMA, and you have the private market flood insurance. So let's talk about those two options a little bit. The National Flood Insurance Program, also known as FEMA, is the government-funded flood insurance program. This program was put in place back in 1968 because people along the Mississippi kept getting flooded and there was no resource there to help them. So this program was put back in place in the 1960s and it's been there ever since. Now, most people think that this is the only option for flood insurance, especially here on the French Broad River. But that's not the case. Depending on your loan type on your property, let's just say that you have a conventional loan, a USDA loan, a VA loan, then you have access to the private market for flood insurance. Now, if you have an FHA loan, then you still have to go through the National Flood Insurance Program. But let's talk about some of the differences when it comes to coverages. On the National Flood Insurance Program, on residential buildings, coverage maxes out at $250,000 on the building, $100,000 on contents. When it comes to the private flood, you can get up to a few million if you needed to on a residence here in Asheville, North Carolina. You can get replacement costs on your contents. You can get contents up to $500,000 to $1 million if you need to. One of the big differences between the National Flood Insurance Program, though, and private flood is what happens when your property floods and you need that place to stay. Well, that's where private flood insurance can be very beneficial. One of the benefits of private flood insurance here in Asheville, North Carolina is temporary living expenses or additional living expenses. This is when your property floods or it's being repaired and you need a temporary place to stay. Then you can put that coverage on your private flood insurance policy. Now, let's say that you own a business here in Asheville, North Carolina. How the coverage is different from the National Flood Insurance Program compared to private market. Well, with the National Flood Insurance Program, there you have a max of $500,000 when it comes to a commercial policy. Well, if you own a business or you own a building, you know that $500,000 doesn't go very far on a commercial building. So the private market actually offers up to about $10, $15 million in this area on particular buildings. So you get a lot more coverage through the private market. One of the big differences, though, just like on residential, is the National Flood Insurance Program does not offer business interruption or business loss of use. And these are two crucial coverages that can keep your business going after a flood. So let's take business loss of use. Let's say you own apartment complexes or office buildings here in Asheville, North Carolina. That business loss of income can help protect those losses of rent if you can't rent those places because it's been flooded for a certain amount of time. So these are some of the differences when it comes to residential and commercial between the National Flood Insurance Program and private market. So what if your property has flooded? What are your options for flood insurance? Well, it depends on how long ago the flood happened. If it happened 20, 30 years ago, it may not have much impact on it at all. However, if it flooded within the last couple years, your options may be limited when it comes to private flood. There are some companies, though, that will insure a property that has had flooding problems in the past. Here at the Flood Insurance Guru, we offer some of those options. So, if you've got questions really about what your flood insurance options are here in Asheville, North Carolina, or you've had flooding on your property before, and either you want to know how to mitigate it, to minimize your flood losses or flood premiums, or you want to know what your options are, please reach out to us. FloodInsuranceGuru.com. Go to our YouTube channel and our Facebook page, The Flood Insurance Guru, where we do our daily flood education videos. You can also give us a call, 205-451-4294. Remember, we have an educational background in flood mitigation, so we can help you understand flood risks like this one right here, the French Broad River here in Asheville, North Carolina. We can help you understand your flood insurance options, whether your property has flooded or not, whether you own a business, if you own a residence, if it's a secondary residence. We can help you understand all those options. And we can also help you mitigate your property to help you minimize flood losses and flood premiums. Thank you.